Rafah is fighting back its panic. Desperate Palestinians are trying to decide if flights should be their last refuge. As Israel draws up plans for a ground offensive, Palestinian president has urged Hamas to agree to a Gazan deal quickly. Mahmoud Abbas pressed Hamas to avoid dire consequences and said, "We call on the Hamas movement to quickly complete a prisoner deal to spare our Palestinian people from the calamity of another catastrophic event with dire consequences, no less dangerous than the Nakba of 1948. Even as Israel continues to bomb Rafah, Israeli officials say they are committed to a ground offensive, and hungry and displaced Palestinians, who are mostly women and children, are lining up outside Gaza charities to feed their families. But it remains unclear when a ground offensive would unfold, and that uncertainty is adding to anxiety among Palestinians in Rafah about where to go and what to do.
The situation here in Rafah is tragic. The situation is indescribable. Men don't have money to buy from the market. Even if we try to get tomatoes or potatoes or pepper, we can't. One doesn't have money to buy either.
A growing number of countries and international organizations are scrambling to convince Israel to halt its offensive. The World Health Organization said a military offensive against Rafah will cause unfathomable catastrophe and push the enclave's health system closer to the brink of collapse.
Military activities in this area, this densely populated areas, would be, of course, an unfathomable catastrophe and an enormous would even further expand the humanitarian disaster beyond imaginations.
Last week, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu directed the country's military to plan for the evacuation of the population from Rafah. He said the Israel Defense Forces will soon go into Rafah, Hamas's last bastion. Israeli officials have requested United Nations aid agencies to help with efforts to evacuate civilians from Gaza war zones.
We wish to make an urgent appeal to the international community. It is time for you to help protect civilians in Gaza from the Hamas terrorists who are trying to use them as human shields.
Over 1.3 million people are now crammed into a sprawling tent city packed against the Egyptian border in Rafah. The border is the only normally safe space for Palestinians fleeing the north and center of Gaza, fearing Gazans will be pushed across. Egypt has reinforced its borders with the city. For Egypt, the prospect of millions of Palestinians pouring into the country brings memories of the 2008 border crisis. That was the year when hundreds of Gazans entered Egypt after the border wall was blown out and torn down. While Israeli media has previously reported some level of coordination, Egypt had denied reports alleging any security coordination between the countries on the Philadelphia corridor. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.